Ladies and gentlemen, raise it to the roof. My name is Connor Doyle. Welcome back to the channel. I'm so excited to have every single one of you guys back. And today we're just doing something else with the beats. Today we are making beats for superheroes. Now, I have already made these beats and kind of assigned them. So basically I'm going to walk you through what I did with each one, and I'm going to show you guys the final product. But the superheroes that I did for today, maybe I might do this in the future, maybe I'll do a few others. Today I did, the classics, Batman and Superman, kind of light and dark kind of thing, so major and minor, so you know what I'm getting at. So I will go in Devil Studio, show you what I did, and let you guys hear the final products. Alright, so I am in FL Studio right now, and we're going to start off with the Superman beat. So obviously, Superman, the go-lucky kind of happy superhero that he is. So obviously I went with a major key for the Superman beat. I tried to keep it somewhat upbeat, and obviously it's going to be a little quicker pace. So I do have a tempo of 80, but because I wanted it to be quicker, I had the drums going at 160. Now the reason I have it at 80 is because the guitar sample I used sounded much better at 80 than it did at 160. It sounded way too fast and rushed. So basically I'll show you the guitar sample in the major key that I used. So that's basically going to be the base of the entire song, is that guitar sample right there. And I love my octaves, so I made one that was obviously higher, and then I made one that was lower. So you can kind of, those obviously aren't in time correctly, but. So the next aspect of the beat was these little vocals that I have right here. Now I understand what you may be thinking, those sound kind of ominous or whatever. My goal basically was to get some like celestial vocals kind of thing, and those kind of sound like, like heavenly vocals. They're still in that major key. This is an E flat major. They're in that major key, but together the guitar and the vocal, they sound very good together, and so it sounds like this. So there's that kind of like Superman as like a god kind of thing. So that's why I used the vocals that I did, and obviously the guitar is just pretty happy and plucky and stuff. So I did that right there. So for the first aspect of the beat, that's kind of the intro, is the guitar and then just the regular vocals. For leading into the chorus, what I did was I layered all three guitars together, and then I put the same vocal chop, but I just pitched it an octave up. So it was it's building that tension kind of thing, and then I can hit it on the drop. Now, to include the kind of Superman aspect that I wanted to include, there's a quote from the TV show that I actually did include right here.
Look, up in the sky, it's a bird. It's a plane. It's Superman.
So within the beat, I made it sound like this.
Look, up in the sky, it's a bird. It's a plane. It's Superman.
So that's exactly what I was talking about with the layered guitars as well as the higher vocal, and then also just a little bit of a slow kind of lo-fi drum loop that I to lead into the chorus. And then right here, right before all the drums hit and stuff, I have a drum fill that sounds like this. So obviously that will lead us into the chorus, and the chorus hits really well. So I kind of wanted to use a really quick hi-hat pattern kind of thing, but I didn't have certain sounds that I wanted to use, so I found this high hoot. So I found this hi-hat loop actually from Cymatics. Turn the volume up a little bit. Sounds like this. So that's that. So I put that in the chorus, and then for the drums, the drum pattern sounds like this. So it's pretty standard, and then the 808 pattern sounds like this. So that's nothing too complicated on the drums, and I know I said I wanted to make the drums faster paced, right? So how I'm doing that is through the hi-hat loop. It gives you a more uppity feel when it's through the hi-hats as opposed to when you try to do it through the kicks or the claps, because that just doesn't sound good a lot of times.
I don't think you have any idea how fast I really am.
This song technically is at 80 because the guitar sample and stuff, but you could also say it's at 160 and the samples are in halftime or whatever you want to call it. So I'll show you the lead into the chorus and how it hits. So yeah, the A-bar repeat or whatever you want to call it, it's pretty standard in pop music nowadays. And I forgot to tell you guys that I do have all the guitars layered, and then I layer both the voices, which is pretty evident through what you are hearing. So next aspect of the beat is basically the verse kind of thing. And so right here it's just the playing guitar and stuff. Nothing much to be said about here. And then you kind of skip over here, and then it's just back. I do a rim shot with a snap to kind of get a. It's not supposed to look like a snap, but there's a little bit of high end on it with the rim shot to lead us back into the chorus again. And then right here I have some panning where basically the voice starts on the left side and the volume starts really low, and then the left side, and then it comes to the center and it's getting louder, and then it goes to your right ear and it's getting louder, and then finally when the chorus hits again, it's like when the chorus hits again, it's both ears, and then it's where the volume was before, and then the chorus hits again right there. But instead of just doing the same exact thing, I have a tape stop right here, which cuts it out. It doesn't cut it all the way out this time. I wanted it to kind of just like slow it down and then hit it right really hard again, so I'll show you that. So yeah, nothing too difficult here. And see here you see some volume automation and stuff, but that is just kind of some producer tricks that I might talk about in another video. So obviously right here, this is kind of the second verse. So that's like the second verse. I layered the low guitar with the normal guitar, and so before the low guitar was really, really low on the volume. I brought it up so you could hear it more, so it would make it sound more full. And then because I didn't do this in the last verse, I'm gonna do it in this one just to try to keep the ears fresh and stuff. But I do the same thing in terms of the panning and the volume, so the voice is going from the left to the right. But instead, this time it's the higher voice. It's not the lower voice that the song starts out with. So, and then I do that loop that I used at the beginning. Then I'm not really using the drum fill again because that's more of like an intro thing. And then so the chorus is again right there. And then again, to change it up and stuff, I have some volume automation over here, and then I have the drums cut out in the middle of the chorus to try to keep you on your heels kind of thing and make you wonder what's going to happen next. It's basically just like leading you back into it. It makes it seem like a break kind of thing, but it's kind of a trick to make sure that you're actually still with it. And then this is kind of the outro portion of the beat where I basically just do the guitar, and then I have the layered voices at the end, and then I have a volume automation on it and some intense reverb at the end, so it kind of like disperses throughout your ears kind of thing. So I'll show you that real quick. So obviously you hear the guitar getting quieter, and then everything just kind of comes down, and then yeah, I reverb it out at the end. So basically that is the entire beat that I made for Superman specifically, and so that is that. And I guess we will go over and I'll show you the Batman beat. Alright, so I have the Batman beat right here, and I'll walk you through this and stuff. So obviously this is the dark side of everything. Superman's usually known as the daytime, the light, and Batman's known as the dark night kind of thing. Dark Knight. So I started out with this melody loop that I found in a cymatics pack. So the raw sample just sounds like this. So that's pretty dark, and so it's in C minor, and so got inspired by that to do a Batman type beat. So at the beginning here, what I did was I have it start out really low, and I have it start with rain and sirens, because, you know, Gotham's always, you know, that cloudy city or whatever, where the, you know, police are always trying to catch the next bad guy kind of thing. So I start with some rain, some sirens, and I start the sample out really, really quiet. I have some EQ on the sample.
Some men aren't looking.
And then, like I said, with the Superman beat, I did a quote from a TV show. So these, I had two quotes right here that I took directly out of The Dark Knight. I put them within the beat, so I'll let you listen to that real quick.
Some men aren't looking for anything logical, like money. They can't be bought, bullied, reasoned, or negotiated with. Some men just want to watch the world burn.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. We are tonight.
So yeah, those are the two quotes. He says we are tonight's entertainment, but I didn't want to let you guys hear that yet because that's when the drums hit. So you could hear how it built it up and stuff. So the reason that it started to sound way more full was obviously because I have this volume automation on it, but also because I have this EQ automation on it, where I have it as like a radio kind of thing. But as soon as this kicks in right here, as soon as the chorus kicks in, whatever you want to call it, I take it out, so it sounds way more full and stuff. And then I layer it on top with a reverse sample. Now, if the reverse sample is too loud, it sounds horrible. It does not sound like it goes together at all. So be careful of that if you guys are producers out there. Be careful of that using reverse sample, because that can sound really bad, but it can actually sound really good. You just have to make sure the volume is okay. Everything else. So the drum pattern sounds like this. Nothing too crazy. The 808s are a little distorted, which is okay, because I thought that kind of went along with the Gotham Batman kind of theme that we had going here. And for the sample, I put the effects that I put on the sample themselves was an EQ where I cut out pretty much all the high ends, some reverb, not too much, just pretty wet and large, and then about a quarter Fruity Blood Overdrive, which is just distortion, because I wanted a lot of distortion on pretty much everything. And then, like I talked about, that EQ with the radio vibe that goes away after a while. And then I have this delay right here, because that goes along with the quote that the Joker was saying right before the drums hit, because it's in your face. I'll show you that real quick.
We are tonight's
Entertainment.
So you guys could obviously hear that, how, you know, it was a radio vibe, and as soon as he says entertainment, the word entertainment is way louder, and everything kind of hits in. So I'll show you that again.
We are tonight's
Entertainment.
So this is a really long sample, so I didn't want to cut it off too much, but after a while it just got kind of repetitive, so you had to throw something in there. So what I did right here was I threw some French horns in there, just to give that dark sound, and to throw something kind of different in there. Obviously nothing too loud though, you don't want to make anything like that too loud, so that's where it kind of cuts off. And then this verse is pretty long, but I kind of I did that on purpose, because I wanted to give the artist, if anyone wanted to get on this beat or something, I wanted to give the artist plenty of room, just work by themselves kind of thing, because this beat this sample has a lot of aspects to it, so where it doesn't really need anything too much. I might adjust that eventually and stuff, try to tone that down, but that's pretty decently long, so I won't take you through that. But right before the next, I don't know if you want to call it choruses, because there's only two really like hard drum hits in this whole beat. So right before that hits, I have another thing happening that most people don't expect, because it's kind of the same thing over and over again, and I'll show you what happens. So So yeah, it's the whole violin thing, and so a lot of people don't expect that because it's kind of it's a distorted beat, and so people don't think that there's going to be clean strings within it. But I did that for a reason because, like, again, I'm trying to go along with the theme of Batman and Gotham. I was like, tons of things are unexpected, but you know, not necessarily bad at the same time, because the violins don't sound bad by any means, but in the beat as a whole, it just doesn't seem to make sense, and I kind of did that on purpose. And in The Dark Knight, I believe there is a scene where there is something very similar to that, actually, where string, I don't know if it was The Dark Knight or Batman Begins or The Dark Knight Rises, but there is, in one of those movies, there's a scene where their violins sound very, very similar to that, and it's when the bad guy is like approaching and stuff. So I thought that was pretty appropriate for the theme that I was going with here. And then after the violin sample, I do a tape stop, and then the drums come back in again. So I'll show you that. And so yeah, it's pretty much the same as the first drum hit, and then at the end here, I put a little a laugh from The Dark Knight. And I end it with the raining and the sirens as it started with. And so, yeah, that was the Batman beat. So ladies and gentlemen, those were the superhero beats based on Batman and Superman. If you guys think I should make any more, please let me know, and comment down below who your favorite superhero is and which superhero you want to see me make a beat after next. So, and I will definitely look at those, and I might consider doing this. I don't know, maybe it's a serious thing. I'm doing a lot of serious, but maybe this could turn into another one. But I want to thank you guys so much for watching. It was a pleasure doing this. It was a lot of fun, and I'll see you guys next time.